isn't out yet. So
Okay.
I think Divine is going to use it.
Now that tower rushing is not an option anymore. Okay, now the dance here. Obviously, both want to make the last shot on a deer. 2 shots to kill a deer. If you do the first one, the other one will get the second one. And now the Viper is getting the second one there, and then he can double shot and should get all the kills. Gets that one quite easily. And now double shot should get 3 out of those remaining.
All right. Always want to have 2 scouts if possible, so you can secure the double hit so that no one steals.
Oh, there's another spot. That's so good for the Viper. He might get like 10 out of 14 deer of his opponent.
That's true. And presumably he's got scouts going for his own side of the map as well. VortiX, look at that mind cam. He's trying to get an arrow in between the 2 lovers that are shooting together. And he's got his own second scout coming in as well. Targets this one. He actually... Oh, look at that. Nice. That's the little micro game going on between a Rus and their opponent.
Really nice to see there, and how much they're clicking behind the scenes. As you assumed, third scout was getting his own deer spot. So Viper with quite a solid bounty of 170 and still a full deer spot of his to take, unless VortiX is contesting that one here at the right hand side. And obviously, as you all know, you can still get some more wolves, 25 each. And yeah, VortiX has no idea of this deer spot. Viper likely to get that one, guarantees himself 240 plus the sheep plus potential wolves. So tier 2 guaranteed, but still didn't see the deer spot, only finds it now.
Okay, so Viper's got a nice little bounty of gold from that, and he'd like to reach 250. You can actually take down a boar with pro scouts with just 4 scouts with a bit of micro. That's worth 75 points as well. Presumably he's got a bunch of wolves as well, the deer. Yeah, he should reach 250 really, really nicely. As for VortiX, we look at him to see roughly at the 330 mark, you could see Beastyqt players starting to get some stone. That's where they have the required amount of wood for a stone mining camp. We'll see if VortiX wants to go for a second town center.
Well, that will obviously be the most important thing to find out in the early game. And then the question, how is Ruth trying to react to that? Obviously, Ruth, as we all know, can play some crazy castle edge timings. We have seen like 8:20, 8 minutes if your build is super sharp. And then maybe some man-at-arm plays. And Beastyqt not typically having the easiest day to defend against man-at-arms if they get the second armor.
Yeah, and it seems like the best way to use men-at-arms when you're rushing with them is to just move them under your opponent's TC as quickly as possible. Don't really need to wait for many. It's really about creating idle villager time as much as possible, as early as possible. So, and then I think you should transition to something else. You don't stick with it, because eventually they are gonna die, but just you use it as an economic cover for other things.
You can also collect all the relics behind it, because most of the time you are going up with the Abbey of Trinity. That could be nice, obviously forcing the opponent to be very self-aware, have to defend. And Viper's macro is certainly good enough, and he loves those relics, loves to play the long game. And as we know, Ruse, and you mentioned it earlier, would love to see that.
No stone for VortiX.
Interesting. Interesting indeed. Did delay the TC there as well in the China game.
You know what we saw a lot, let's say about a month ago, before the Horseman got its +3, well, Horseman got that buff maybe a month or a month and a half ago, where they went from 1 ranged armor to 2. Before that, everyone in every matchup was playing mass archers. Now, pretty much never see it.
Yeah, mass archer's not really an option anymore. We did discuss it that Delhi could have been an option there, because it's so easy to heal them up again, all those archers. But typically in any other situation, you don't see that. And we see both players going for stable now, so Horseman, absolutely an option.
Of course, the Viper as Rus could go for Feudal early knights. These are very expensive though. They cost as much as a Castle Age knight, and they don't have that level yet, so... And they're hard to heal up. They do come out with 3 armor, 3 ranged, 3 melee armor. Horsemen have 2 ranged armor. So they're significantly better at fighting enemy horsemen and spears, but they still suck too much against spears to make them. And although they can defeat horsemen, they're not faster than them, and they're in fact a little slower. Villagers would be the main target, but you make such a large investment that you first deal damage to self by making a knight in the investment, then you need to earn them back. Knight costs more than a villager, but of course killing villagers has an ongoing income deficit effect for the opponent. But unless you can really feel like you can kill 2 villagers per knight, it may not be worth it.
VortiX is deviating from what we see from most Abbasid players, in the sense that he, most of the time, is rushing out fresh foodstuffs, rushing out that second town center. Here we see early wheelbarrow, barracks a bit delayed. What's the idea behind this? Because normally the town center is already been built, but VortiX, only 200 stone without a lot of harassment.
Yep, 6 minutes is when you could make it without much units or with just 2 spears or so. He went for barracks and a couple of units early. He's going to be able to put down his town center at about 7 minutes or so, which is a perfectly fine delay. What surprises me perhaps even more is that Viper is staying in Feudal Age and making a blacksmith. What's that going to be?
Uh-oh. Also has some gold there, obviously trickling in. Maybe a spearman horseman push with siege engineers.
I wonder if it's going to be ranged armor. Just make 10 horsemen, 8 spears, and just shove under enemy TC. They'll all have 3 and 1 ranged armor. No, it's going to be the siege engineering. Okay.
Well, but still, like, you could have maybe tried to go under there, right? Force a lot of idle time. The thing is, though, spearmen are already at home. And they can defend against that horseman and spearman attack.
Well.
Town centers can focus down those spearmen, and then you only need to deal with the horsemen. Viper could have been annoying, but this one feels more like a Feudal Age all-in by a ruse against Abbasid, something I've never seen before.
Yeah, what's the play here? Is he looking to kill second TC and go back? Is he looking to poke away at... Well, this becomes a prime attack target now, doesn't it? Considering the position.
So far out for sure. And Viper tries to go for 1 villager kill, finds it. Spearman not really attacking, and Viper even takes a second villager down. Trades off against 2 horsemen though. And yeah, as you mentioned, prime attack potential there. Archery range now being built defensively, if I saw that correctly, indeed. And Viper, yeah, if the TC was closer, for example, to the stone, maybe closer to the gold, a compact defense for VortiX could have been easier. This way, maybe some rams at the top, because VortiX wanted those deer.
Yeah, deer, of course, great source of food. He's going to be able to make many horsemen and spears. In fact, both of them are going for spears and archers now.
Scout could run in there, could get the intel. Normally, you build that ram in the stealth forest so that the opponent cannot see it, but Scout gets the intel.
I think he probably saw it. Can we quickly see VortiX's vision?
And
yeah, he saw it.
Good job there, and loses the scout. He did his duty.
So he saw the ram. He's making lots of archers and spearmen from how many buildings? 1 range, 1 barracks?
Okay.
Okay, so he's got a lot in queue. We see those 4 archers, but they're not being mass-produced. Viper is also making spears and archers. The army count right now for Viper, 50% higher. Some of that is still horsemen, which have a great purpose into archers. And he's coming in with a ram, not targeting the second TC presently.
Big question for the Abbasid players, where is he taking the next berry bush? Because the berry bush is kind of where we have the army. Third one very far at the front. So it's all about those deer next to the town center. After that, maybe he even has to go into farming, unless he can clear up this army.
Doesn't have the wood for farming right now. VortiX can make about 3 farms or so. Viper is also doing some extensive micro with ram garrisoning, making sure that his spears are inside the ram so they can't get shot by the archers.
Interesting move for sure. Double archery range, stable, blacksmith, lots of production now. Add some more scouts. Quite interesting. We did not see professional scouts by the Viper. Has armor against the archers on the other side of VortiX. Not even the blacksmith.
Right now the villager count for VortiX is increasing. He's got 3 more than Viper. Nothing too huge yet. VortiX also is running out of wood a bit. He's gathering a lot, but he's mass spending it. This is a very slow and meticulous build-up for Viper in this feudal all-in. And there's no plan B right now, Neely.
Yeah, but 2 unanswered villager picks. He's happy with that. VortiX only 3 villagers ahead. Viper is just ramping up his army. I think, especially with more blacksmith upgrades coming in all-in, can work here.
Let's see how far that blacksmith upgrade for Viper is. He's got that ranged undermesh. He's getting the ranged attack. If we can look at the blue blacksmith for a second, so we can see where his upgrade is at.
Well,
Observer wants to keep the vision on the fight, and it makes sense. He's going in for a very unimportant mill. There's only 1 berry patch left.
Maybe the first attack there. Oh, Viper. That's actually a pretty fortunate hunting cabin. Next to the woodline and next to the deer.
Yeah, and Viper needed it because he just ran out of sheep.
Okay, now we see the finished attack upgrade for his ranged units, and finds a horseman kill, something he easily takes. Scout still around, horseman still guarding, and Viper has quite some Q as we can see, but that's fair to say for both players. Both players going for an interesting army mix, but remember Viper double archery range, now finds some kills against the spearman. A bit out of position, horsemen are jumping for the archers, but microing back. Viper now with the spearman there, not the most efficient unit, still feels like let's throw something to the front.
Archers are getting shots off on spearmen, but VortiX sequestered many of them to safety for now. Nice archer ball for Viper. Keep in mind he's got the better upgrades. He's 6 attack, 1 armor on his archers. He's getting good shots in archer versus archer. Horsemen and scouts are going in once again to start buffering the attack and doing bonus damage to the archers. Horsemen are now coming out from VortiX as well. He's gonna target the archers, but the spears are there. This is looking pretty good for the blue force of the Viper here.
Uh-oh, apparently military upgrades are quite good. Only scouts alive though. They are not the craziest damage dealers, more of a buffer. And as you can see, those archers are doing fine. More horsemen need to be added here for the Viper, but that feels like a feudal age all-in can be on the cards, because now both players pretty much reset with their armies.
49, 9 workers ahead for VortiX now. The archer count is actually proving to be the ultimate decider here, as well as the reinforcement routes for VortiX. It looked pretty bad for him. He was 50% military behind, but as the game dragged on, that 50% dwindled. They had roughly the same production, and as the fight started, it had dwindled to 20%. Viper moved in, a battle of micro ensued. It's back to a 50% advantage for Viper, but because of the reinforcement route, everything isn't here yet.
Oi, oi, oi. Well, that's the advantage for the defender. All his archers popping and constantly or instantly can start on shooting as well. And Viper maybe overextends a bit, maybe could go for another ram, but feels like, okay, I can trade off because there's not a lot of spearmen protecting those archers for VortiX right now.
Nice archer ball here for the Viper. He must have a good set of archery ranges to reinforce in this manner. The upgrades are actually the big decider here, nearly.
Yeah. And that's why the Viper can just trade off. He sees, okay, maybe I have 1-2 units less than you, but still, the damage output I'm doing is just so much better. And as you can see, VortiX, 5 archers in the queue, 4 spearmen in the queue, double horsemen in the queue. He doesn't have enough production. Look at that, only double archery range.
Yeah.
Look at that long queue. We need 1-2 more buildings.
2 ranges, a stable, and a barracks here for VortiX. He's trying to produce, and on the other side, 3 archery ranges. So really just 1 more. And he used that hunting cabin a bit for some scouts. And that big determiner, the blacksmith. Viper continuing with the pressure. A barracks coming for the buildings here. A range would really be the ultimate prize here.
Oh, and the other range is low on HP as well, as you can see at the bottom. Maybe goes for the kill there, and then he only needs to add spearman. Has the perfect answer. Villagers now trying to move in. We already have textiles on the side for VortiX.
Textiles helps a lot. 50% bonus health, 75 HP on the villagers. He's just absolutely going for that ram, throwing fire. Didn't lose many villagers either. A very efficient defense by VortiX against that ram.
Oh, but just doubling down or tripling down, if you want to call it that way, because he is going for more, but thinks, okay, you want to attack me. Low HP horsemen are coming to the front, but Viper still has to be happy. I'm shocked how VortiX was delaying his upgrades. Only now has the +1 attack, goes for the armor.
Attack helps a lot here for his archers. Possibly in the current situation, a ranged armor first would have been better, since Viper has the biggest archer ball, so ranged armor would be the most relevant. Viper did get delayed on building those ramps. He's going back in there. VortiX is still gathering more resources. Loads on wood. He's got the wood to start making more ranges. That would feel like the key. He's got 6 archers in production from what? 2 ranges?
Yeah, look at that production also. Look at how many horsemen we have in the queue.
Oh my god, 6 horsemen from a single stables? If he's that rich, and he is, my word, a second stable and a 3rd range would have just done wonders, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, and look at that. Viper tries to sneak around, feels like, okay, this is normally the time where I took away double of your berries, and he tries to find the extra spot. Low HP horseman, doesn't matter, he will find this, and VortiX is scared, runs around, and now the big question, VortiX, he probably has to invest his wood into farming instead of the 2nd stable or 3rd archery range.
He needed those farms, he needed that food, but Viper's experience also revealed the berries there in the far side of the map, all the way on the top. Horsemen are going in. they do have that ranged armor now. They're starting to become a better tank. Viper falls back to the relative safety of his wooden fortresses, which start to shoot a bit as well. And an archery range got taken out that puts VortiX really low.
And another one just needs one more hit. Villagers, oh no, that's Spearman coming in. And oh, we see some upgrades for the towers, Grubby.
Ranged armor, 2 extra range, ranged attack, 2 extra range for wooden fortresses. It not only brings their arrow attacks to be further, I think from 6 to 8, but it also allows garrisoned units to shoot further as well. Interesting, not going with that early, let's say, arrow emplacement, but making sure that garrisoned units inside can shoot further. I don't usually see that one first.
Yesterday I said something stupid. I said landmark victories will be less common in the future because people will build their House of Wisdom more defensively. Look at VortiX, it's completely exposed.
Or maybe, I think you were right. Don't forget, VortiX also made his Regnitz Cathedral to the front against MarineLorD. So he just isn't like, he's not thinking about losing, he's just thinking about winning.
Yeah, obviously Regnitz Cathedral, you want to build it to the front because you can drop on the relics a bit earlier then. But look at that, house is now going down. VortiX 100 out of 110, can't go for the production and now puts all the wood on the map. Look at the resources, could be close when it comes to food, but now the big fights are coming.
A couple of spears running forward into the wrong unit, into archers. They get shot down immediately, which means that the horseman would be good here for VortiX. He still has 5 archers in production. He's got money for a lot of horsemen, but doesn't have the stables to make them from. The fight continues. Archers are running away to the wooden fortresses that have a few garrisoned units. There's so many rams. There's villagers starting to die. Nonetheless, VortiX still has a large villager advantage. I could still see him holding this, which is insane.
Is it that large though? Villagers might be dying in the next attack again because those archers have to fall back. Ram obviously can't attack another ram. Another house goes down, but VortiX built more in the back. And I think Viper, he's just committing fully here. And we again see 5 archers in the queue, 4 horsemen. VortiX not putting more production in there, and he has 650 wood floating.
Archers for Viper were momentarily attacking horsemen and or rams. Now he's going back into the main target of archers. The spearmen and the villagers are going to destroy that ram. VortiX has not been brought to his knees in all this time, and every second he survives, it gets more difficult for Viper to see this ending in a victory. The horseman is tanking amazingly there, though, as he gets many shots in on VortiX's archers.
Did Viper just lose all his rams? He had 2 extra rams, not really finding the kills. And Viper, he was aware of the potential of extra berries at some point. Did deny it at the front, but horseman got lost, and he allows the berries there in the center. Now ram with low HP coming forward, but sends more villagers to repair. Thinks better of it, though. Villager advantage up to 13 for VortiX already.
And 11 idle villagers for Viper that are not being addressed. Where are they?
It's tough to find sometimes, obviously. Ooh, those inefficient farms. Maybe a weird waypoint. Also, his wood line didn't look too pretty there. Kind of overchopped and now is moving away. Wooden fortress and a second wood line makes lots of sense. Ooh,
yeah,
nice spearman.
Oh, new worker line here on wood as well by VortiX.
And archers are coming in.
Oh!
But archers for the defense as well will find 1 kill and has to retreat now. Tower still helping out. But look at that. Pulls lots of villagers, and that wooden fortress already low on HP.
He's going to take down that wooden fortress. A garrison here from Viper in the second one, the second fallback point. As it stands, though, the question is, does this game just go on? I mean, the villager discrepancy between them would put Viper in a really tough spot, unless he Golden Gates his way to his second TC. But it's still hard to compete with Abbasid's villager cost.
Neither player is on gold, so for right now at least, both are indicating, okay, I'm staying on Feudal Age and want to go for the aggression. That wooden fortress is going down. If only Viper had 2-3 more horsemen, that would not be possible for VortiX.
Yeah, this is, and he's making them, right? Horsemen are coming in. This is a decent fight, honestly, for Viper. I think he got a slightly better trade. At this point, VortiX is just accepting the bad trade in order to definitively and finally deal with that wooden fortress.
Are those all villagers?
They were!
I don't think they really want to stay in there now, right? But they helped out so much killing the wooden fortress, so they did their job.
Yep. They're still attacking.
Okay, now 1 horseman really low for VortiX, and it feels weird how like 1 single horseman actually changes if you can fight or if you can't.
Yeah, that's true. It does so much in this archer battle with the 3 ranged armor. Wow, what a big feudal battle. This could be maybe the record for the slowest castle or at least top 3 slowest castle games, if we even go there at all in this game, for N4C games so far.
Ooh, let's see. Let's jump into the POV of the players. Another stable added for the Viper. He moves back. He goes for the Stealth Forest and tries to prepare himself a raid. And a third stable even there. If it's not the fourth one, triple archery range, 3 stables, goes for the full production, blocked off those berries and now wants to raid the gold. This is not easy for VortiX to maneuver.
He's kind of looking for what's he doing? He's looking for something to gather from. He actually, you can see how long it takes. Like, you actually start to appreciate the extreme management of the macro economy at large, as he's thinking like, okay, boars, stone, berries, what am I going to go for? It looks like he decided to go for the boars with that hunting cabin there. On VortiX's side, he started to lock things down. He's feeling pretty good about surviving this all-in for so long. With his villager count, he started to protect what he has built up.
Now, can he actually fight against that horseman? Doesn't look like it. Spearman for the defense required there. Villagers pushed away. And right now, he doesn't have the 600 gold to click up. And Viper, he sits at 100 or 100 population. VortiX plus 20. That defense is happening. And Viper can go for the boar. Gets another 75 bounty as well. But still, not really looking towards Castle Age.
440 bounty means he needs to kill 1 more boar in order to reach it. It's right there on his path, actually. But, I mean, I almost never remember that. I'll look at Twitch chat after I played this 57-minute Roost game, and they're like, the boar! You forgot to kill the boars!
Oh, yeah. Certainly could happen here. That Twitch chat is telling him afterwards. Archers, they're kind of caught off guard in the center. Production looks pretty hot. We have the main push at the top, and horsemen are pushing the Viper away. Those walls will finish in time, but only after some losses because archers are behind.
VortiX now finally has the bigger army. He's got a big ball of horsemen and archers, and he sees the Viper's attack here on the side. That should make VortiX really happy, because he knows I can make as many walls as I want. I can pull back my villagers anytime I need to. I can stop anytime. Meanwhile, his attack is going to be less well defended. Yeah, look at that. Villagers go away, no problem. Army out of position. VortiX has a massive, massive superior force.
Oh, and Viper doesn't really have the idea because we're fighting in the Stealth Forest there, so he doesn't really see how many archers do you have. Apparently you have quite a bit because my archers are dying. And as you can see, reinforcements tough to judge. Villagers have to be pulled, and VortiX is close to the production heart of the Viper.
Taking down that fortress would all but guarantee this victory here for the VortiX. As he smashes through and he attacks back into his tormentor of the last 20 minutes or so. A Feudal all-in, finally held off by VortiX, and his counter-attack is ruthless and efficient.
Oh, and pulled the villagers away quite beautifully. The Viper is killing that ram though, so Wooden Fortress can deal something. Horsemen now getting to volley it. Archers there for the defense, but it just feels like Viper's not really having the top army at full efficiency. If he had it over here, he could maybe make a hold happen, but like this, it feels like VortiX can even defend this with the second wave.
Yeah, no point even if he killed 20% of the economy of VortiX when he's losing the battle here. He already has the worst economy. It would take a lot of villager kills for him to actually feel ahead in economy. And with something so important, so urgent to deal with the home defense, and him not attributing his full army to it, that feels risky indeed.
And those berries will run dry, but not important. The clear up is there for VortiX, maybe with a second wave. Viper is holding here as well, but it's just so clear how much better the economy is getting for VortiX, and Viper had quite some losses. Advantage around 35.
It's so funny how in Age of Empires, all the games, 4 included, basically it's a game of limited info, where you need to scout in order to get info, but the one piece of info you get from your opponents is how many landmarks, sacred sites they have, and when they age up. And that feels strange to me as a formerly other RTS game player, and sometimes other RTS game player. You suddenly get that info, castle age reached. And that is a very demoralizing message to get in cases like this.
Actually, a really weird thing. In Age of Empires, you know the score screen at the end of Age of Empires, right?
Yeah.
In Age of Empires 1, you can access that during the game.
What?
So you can constantly see how much gold they mined, what's their villager count, and with the Definitive Edition, Age of Empires patched that one out, But
Yeah.
all the pros said, no, we want it like that. And they stopped playing Definitive Edition and play the old one.
Of Age of Empires 1.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
But now it's in the Definitive Edition as well.
Well, that's just, I mean, that's an old game with old points of view. I mean, it's valid. You know, if they like the game that way, they stuck with the game for that long, I think they deserve a big say in how the game continues to be played. I doubt that this decision will either attract or not attract people that have never played the game before. I don't think it'll be a big point. But that's funny. So you're like studying a spreadsheet at the same time to see where they might be, what resources they're harvesting. Well, I'm glad it's not a thing in AoE 4. But that Castle Age call-out that VortiX has reached, that's a pretty big deal. Meantime, though, ViPer did a really good job killing all of the army. Look at the supply count. It's actually not that big of a difference anymore, despite, of course, ViPer not being in Castle Age at all.
Is it all the army, though? 25 and men-at-arms coming in, and that's not a pretty army to address men-at-arms. Some horsemen, some archers here, and once we have like 10 men-at-arms coming over, ViPer will be in lots of trouble, and he's just so far away from Castle Age still.
Yeah.
Oh, but nice raid.
Doesn't have any of the food or gold required. Does have a very high food income. And he's doing a little bit of counter-harass. Nice job. Making it harder and difficult for VortiX, even in such overwhelming odds. But as the first men-at-arms of VortiX are streaming in, well, those don't really have a counter in Feudal.
Oh, but that's a lot of losses here potentially. If the archers are moving in, those witches are unprotected. The ViPer debates quite some army away. Look at that. Men-at-arms trying to chase those horseman raids. Not really how men-at-arms are designed.
Yeah, that's true. They're not a good chase unit. If ViPer is active and proactive with this, he can possibly start to go to Castle Age himself. He is... Wow, he suddenly got a lot of gold. He sold... I want to say he sold food probably at the Golden Gate. I didn't know that he had such a surplus. Maybe he went like buy food, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. I'm not sure exactly, but either way, he used the Golden Gate. He now suddenly has enough resources to go to Castle, and he does.
Wow, still 47 military. If we can upgrade all that, maybe mix in like 5 to 10 crossbow. VortiX needs to go for a different army, and he probably wasn't counting on that.
10 men-at-arms are in production.
Wow. Yeah, then we need more than 5 crossbow for sure. ViPer still has the advantage, though, to keep VortiX kind of on his base, right? The attack is coming, and ViPer, he has enough archer ranges, he has enough stables, so could go for some army. What is he going for? 3 crossbows the opener, followed up by some knights with the Castle Age Knight upgrade.
He made men-at-arms, cancelled it, made the knight, cancelled it, made veteran knight. Now he's following up with knights and a warrior monk. So it's going to be knights and crossbows. This is absolutely the right answer into men-at-arms. It's too late to start making your own men-at-arms. So this is the right answer. He just needs numbers.
Okay, now the big question again, just on the minimap, now some farms being dropped by VortiX. Men-at-arms are coming in, still not having the second armor upgrade, though. Goes for the attack over the armor with Men-at-arms. Quite an interesting choice. ViPer needs crossbow numbers desperately.
He's killing these men-at-arms here with horsemen and archers. Crossbows are coming out as well. Warrior monk still in production. A lot of the farms and wood for the ViPer has been disrupted. He's in this really difficult situation where his food suddenly dropped. He's got no food and barely any income. If he can recover from this, he can get the unit types that are required, maybe get a couple of walls off, but VortiX actually has him on the brink.
Somewhat.
ViPer's on the metaphorical precipice, and all VortiX has to do is to shove hard.
Let's take a look. Oh, Horseman buying some time, right? And the raids of the ViPer are really solid.
So good.
It feels like ViPer already killed like 30, 40 villagers this game.
I think so, yeah.
VortiX production is obviously crazy with the opposite, but look at that. Now villagers have to be pulled and spearmen out of position multiple times.
How much mileage can you get out of 6 horsepower? That's the question here. ViPer can get so much out of it. It's sick what he's doing with these.
Yeah, certainly buying himself some time, giving himself some also time to get to his better army, and well, more men-at-arms in the queue. Now we go for more warrior monks. Maybe behind this ViPer can get the relic advantage, but oh, mass men-at-arm and mangonels.
Stealth
need lots of
forest.
springles.
Stealth Forest, though, he gets the jump on the mangonels. The mangonels are not firing yet. One goes down immediately. They're going for the second mangonel, which get a shot that is mostly dodged by the archers. 2 mangonels go down. Great pickup from the ViPer and usage of that Stealth Forest.
Why does it feel like what's shown on the camera Viper's doing all the right moves. He's defending, he's raiding, so much is going in his favor. But VortiX is increasing population so heavily.
He's got more villagers. And there's also unharassed villagers. We're looking at the action, but the big story here is in where the action is not. All those farms around the town centers of VortiX, that large cluster of villagers on the left side on that gold mining camp. Do I count 3 town centers as well? Is that right? From VortiX. 1, 2, no, it's 2.
Okay.
But still, a large villager count. He can kind of stop, but he isn't yet. There is a bit of relic pickup by Viper. 1 relic, 1 sacred site. Still making warrior monks. And now that he's making knights, VortiX picked up on that and he's going mass spearman.
It feels a bit like something that my coaches always get really, really annoyed by. When people come over here, Neil, I want to improve, and we sit down and they show me some recorded games or show me their POV, and they're like, here I want to micro and here I want to do those tricky moves, and I actually tell them, like, that's absolutely unimportant. Make sure that you get the resources on the map, that you build villagers. And they're like, but no, I want to dodge the mango shot. No. Obviously, we are showing all the highlight scenes. We are showing all the great plays that the players provide. But what's happening behind the scenes is the actual greatness that they have.
Exactly. You're so right, Neely, because it's like TV poker, where if you watch it, you think that you should play every single hand and always go all in and bluff with 7-2 offsuit. Whereas, of course, that's not the way of things. It's the solid foundation, the underpinnings of everything. That's what makes AoE4 such a beautiful, magical game, with the extensive management of villagers all over the map, multitasking, fights everywhere, and sometimes a keep in your face.
Ah, yeah, TV poker. There are some wild stories there for sure. Some might even think that it's a good idea to go all in with pocket kings, but everyone knows it isn't.
Yeah, I knew that.
Good. Sacred sites now being controlled here, and we are already having 2 there. Viper also 3 relics, but this is a nice fortification in the center, and that's kind of a reminder of the game yesterday that we have of TheMista when he played Abbasid and got so much siege and a big push rolling for himself.
Is the wall actually open? Yeah. VortiX actually made a large wooden wall, but he forgot the little hill wall on the left. This. It's open.
Oh, and we'll find a raid there at the gold. Oh, that's going to be lots and lots of kills. But Viper, 80 population behind. And as you mentioned earlier, even if he kills 20% of the economy of the opponent,
doesn't do anything when you're losing your base or when even your opponent is going full TheMista.
Oh, 1 landmark already down. Obviously -3 relics there as well. The other 2 landmarks pretty close here. Mangonels are coming in, and Viper simply not having enough Springles for my taste, or they all instantly get sniped.
Yeah, there's so many Springles here for VortiX. How do you get Springles enough to stop such reckless Springles? Knights, Knights are here doing a little bit of work, hitting some villagers, but if anything, I would say... Oh, nice shot there by Mangonels. 1 landmark is down, second one is getting attacked.
Villagers are being pulled.
If Viper can survive for 10 minutes, though, he gets the sacred site victory.
Okay. Oh, no, only 940, Grubby.
9:36, we'll keep you updated. 9:35 right now.
And to get some raids in, but as we see, also 90 population behind. Loses his main town center. Obviously already lost his Abbey of Trinity. Next step, the Golden Gate for VortiX.
And what is the acronym for Golden Gate?
GG.
GG. There we go. Just go for the GG, VortiX.
But apparently he sits back a bit further, sees now a keep is being built there at the top, got some shots into those villagers with the Mangonels, but he does not care. Keep is still helping out a bit, but he is going for the kill, and Golden Gate, not the craziest amount of HP. Viper needs to hold this.
VortiX is going for the GG. Viper has to scramble to the defense of it to prevent the GG from going down. Well, the good thing is if GG goes down, he doesn't have to GG because he'll be ejected the frack out of this game. Wait, yeah, that's it. GG.
Did he realize? Oh, look at that! The e-sport O with the mouth. He was like, whoopsie!
Does the Viper know? Like, I know he's been kind of split between 2 games. Does he know landmark victory is a thing?
Well, he watched the games the other day, so yeah, certainly he now knows what happened. But that's the like, oh, I didn't see that one.
I have an esports confession to make. I didn't realize that was my last landmark.
I thought I was winning. There was 70 pop against your top 100.
It was
200.
like killing villagers at the sacred site victory. I thought it was 10 minutes. 10 minutes passed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Wait, did I win? Like, why do my units turn grey?
You got lucky there that you killed my landmarks.
Lucky noob, lucker.
He also 3 relics there, lost those. Game number 5. After being ahead 2-0 for the